My beloved child. There is a reason your heart brought you here today. This is not an ordinary moment. Something has already started moving behind the scenes, even if your eyes cannot see it yet. A big surprise is ready for you, but a small delay has been protecting something far greater than you imagined. If everything had happened earlier, you would have missed the lesson that was preparing you to receive what truly belongs to you. Stay with these words until the very end. Every sentence will uncover another piece of a picture that has remained hidden for far too long. Before this message ends, you will understand why certain doors refused to open, why certain people slowly disappeared, and why your journey suddenly became quieter than before. None of it happened without purpose. The surprise waiting for you is not random. It has been growing silently while your patience was being tested. That is why today feels different. Something invisible has already begun changing. You may not recognize it yet, but your next chapter has already taken its first breath. For a long time, you believed nothing was changing because every morning looked almost the same as the day before. You kept wondering why your efforts seemed unnoticed. You questioned why answers arrived so slowly. Yet there was something happening beyond what your eyes could measure. Every disappointment quietly removed a path that was never meant to become your destination. Every unexpected pause redirected your steps toward something far more meaningful. Sometimes the greatest surprise cannot arrive while your attention is fixed on what you lost. It waits until your heart becomes ready to recognize its true value. Think about the moments when everything seemed silent. Those were not empty moments. Those were moments of preparation. While you were learning patience, another story was slowly taking shape. While you were rebuilding your confidence, new opportunities quietly arranged themselves where you least expected them. That is why this message found you today instead of yesterday. Timing has always been part of the surprise. Nothing valuable ever needed to rush because what is meant for you cannot lose its way. Now listen carefully because this next truth changes everything. The surprise is closer than it appears, but there is one detail that almost everyone overlooks. The final step before a breakthrough often looks exactly like another ordinary day. That is why so many people stop believing just before everything changes. They mistake silence for absence. They mistake waiting for rejection. They mistake delay for failure. Do not make the same mistake. Your story is approaching the moment where ordinary becomes unforgettable. You have already survived chapters that once seemed impossible. You have already walked through seasons that taught you strength without announcing the lesson in advance. Every challenge added something valuable that you could not see while living through it. Now those hidden lessons are beginning to connect like pieces of a puzzle. Soon you will look back and realize that nothing was wasted. Every unexpected turn carried you one step closer to the surprise that has been patiently waiting for the right moment to appear. There is another reason this surprise has remained hidden. Imagine receiving a precious gift before understanding its value. Most people would overlook it. They would treat it like another ordinary event. That is not your story anymore. Your experiences have changed the way you see life. Your heart has learned to recognize blessings that once seemed invisible. The delay was never designed to disappoint you. It was designed to deepen your understanding so that when the surprise finally arrives, you will not question it or ignore it. You will recognize it immediately because everything that happened before this moment prepared your eyes to see what was always approaching. Even now, tiny signs are beginning to appear around you. Small conversations feel different. Unexpected ideas arrive without warning. Familiar places suddenly carry new meaning. These are quiet reminders that change rarely announces itself with loud noise. It often begins with gentle moments that only patient hearts notice. The greatest transformations usually enter life quietly before everyone else realizes something extraordinary has begun. One final thought must stay with you until the next part of this journey. Somewhere beyond today's ordinary routine, a single moment is already moving toward you. You cannot force it. You cannot chase it. You only need to remain ready when it finally arrives. The surprise has never been a question of whether it exists. The only question has always been whether you would continue believing long enough to witness it. Hold on to that thought, because what comes next will reveal why one unexpected connection, one forgotten memory, and one quiet decision are all leading toward the same remarkable destination. The most astonishing part of this story has not been revealed yet. In the next part, the hidden reason behind the delay will finally come into the light, and what you discover may completely change the way you understand everything that has happened until now. A new chapter begins with a truth that few people ever discover. The delay was never standing against you. It was quietly standing between you and the wrong outcome. While you were asking why nothing seemed to move, unseen pieces were finding their perfect places. Every conversation that ended unexpectedly. Every opportunity that disappeared without explanation. Every plan that changed at the last moment. None of these moments were empty. They were carefully removing distractions so that the surprise prepared for you would arrive without confusion. This is where everything becomes more interesting. The closer a remarkable moment comes, the more ordinary life can appear. That is why many people stop paying attention just before everything changes. Do not let that happen to you. What seems like another normal day may become the day you remember for years. The biggest surprise does not always enter with noise. Sometimes it arrives so quietly that only those who remain patient are able to recognize it before everyone else. Something else has been happening that you may not have noticed. Your perspective has changed. Months ago, you would have reacted differently to the situations you face today. You have become stronger without realizing it. You have learned to stay calm during uncertainty. You have learned that rushing never creates lasting peace. Those lessons were not random. They were preparing your heart to carry something greater than before. Imagine receiving an extraordinary gift while still carrying fear from yesterday. You would never enjoy it completely. That is why your journey first strengthened your character before revealing your next blessing. This is the hidden connection that many never understand. The surprise is valuable not only because of what it brings, but because of the person you have become while waiting for it. Your patience has quietly transformed into wisdom. Your hope has quietly transformed into confidence. Those invisible changes are becoming the foundation of everything that comes next. Now pay close attention, because the next revelation explains why this message found you today. Somewhere very close to your current path, a small decision is waiting. At first glance it may appear ordinary. It may seem like a simple conversation. A simple invitation. A simple opportunity. A simple idea that suddenly refuses to leave your mind. Most people would overlook such a moment because they expect life-changing events to appear dramatically. Yet remarkable changes often begin with one peaceful decision that feels almost too simple to matter. That is exactly why the surprise has remained hidden until now. It does not need loud announcements. It only needs your willingness to recognize its importance when the moment finally arrives. The smallest key can unlock the largest door. The quietest beginning can create the greatest transformation. Never underestimate a gentle moment simply because it arrives without excitement. There is another mystery that deserves your attention. You may still be thinking about something you believed was permanently lost. Perhaps it was an opportunity. Perhaps it was confidence. Perhaps it was a dream that slowly faded from your daily thoughts. But what if that ending was only creating space for something that fits your future far better than your past ever could? Sometimes life removes what is familiar because something extraordinary cannot enter a crowded heart. Empty spaces often feel uncomfortable before they become meaningful. That is why waiting has been difficult. You were standing inside the space where one chapter had already ended while another had not yet fully appeared. That space was never meant to last forever. It was only the bridge between two very different seasons. Now the bridge is almost behind you. The destination ahead is becoming clearer with every passing day, even if you cannot fully see it yet. One final thought must remain with you until the next part. The surprise itself is only the beginning. What follows after it will matter even more. The moment you finally understand why every delay happened, your entire journey will make sense in a way you never expected. One forgotten detail from your past is about to connect with one unexpected moment from your future. When those two pieces finally meet, everything will change. The answer has been closer than you imagined all along. In the next part, the hidden connection that has quietly followed you throughout this journey will finally be revealed, and it may explain why this surprise could only arrive at this exact moment. A remarkable truth is waiting just beyond this moment. You have been looking ahead for answers, but one of the greatest clues has been quietly following you from your past. There were moments that once seemed completely ordinary. A conversation you almost forgot. A choice that appeared insignificant. A delay that felt frustrating. Today those forgotten moments begin connecting like pieces of a masterpiece. Nothing was accidental. Every experience quietly prepared the path you are walking now. This is why the surprise could never have arrived before today. It needed every missing piece to settle into its rightful place. If even one event had changed, the ending would have been different. That realization alone carries incredible meaning. What once looked like random chapters are becoming one complete story. As the picture becomes clearer, you will begin noticing that life has been guiding you more carefully than you ever realized. Now another layer of the mystery unfolds. There is a quiet shift happening around you that cannot be measured by the calendar or the clock. It is measured by your readiness. Recently you may have noticed small moments that feel strangely meaningful. Familiar places seem different. Ordinary conversations leave a lasting impression. New ideas appear without warning and remain in your thoughts long after the moment has passed. These are not dramatic signs. They are gentle reminders that something meaningful is approaching. Great changes often announce themselves through quiet preparation rather than loud celebration. The surprise waiting for you is following the same pattern. It is drawing closer step by step, while giving you enough time to recognize its value. That is why your heart feels a little more hopeful today than it did before. Deep inside, a part of you already senses that something important is near. There is one lesson that changes everything. People often believe the greatest reward is the surprise itself. The truth is even more powerful. The greatest reward is the confidence you discover while waiting for it. Look at the person you have become. You have learned to keep moving when answers were delayed. You have continued believing even when certainty was impossible. You have chosen hope over discouragement more times than you can count. Those quiet victories have shaped your character. They have created the strength needed for the next chapter. That strength is the reason this surprise will remain with you instead of passing through your life for only a brief moment. Lasting blessings require lasting growth. You have been growing every single day, even during seasons when you believed nothing was changing. Now those hidden changes are about to become visible in ways that will surprise even you. There is another secret that cannot be ignored. Someone around you may never realize what has been taking place inside your journey. They only see the surface. They notice the ordinary routines, but they cannot see the transformation happening within your heart. That is perfectly fine. Not every chapter is meant to be understood by everyone. Some stories become meaningful only when the right moment arrives. Your surprise belongs to that kind of story. It has been protected from unnecessary attention so it could grow without interruption. Just as a seed develops beneath the soil before anyone notices the first sign of life, your next chapter has been quietly preparing beneath the surface. The day is coming when what remained hidden will no longer stay unseen. When that moment arrives, you will understand why patience was one of the greatest gifts you were ever given. One final thought remains before this chapter closes. The surprise is now closer than ever before, but the greatest revelation has still not been spoken. There is one final piece that connects every delay, every unexpected turn, every quiet lesson, and every hopeful moment into one unforgettable answer. That final piece has been waiting for exactly the right time to appear. When it does, you will no longer ask why the journey took so long. Instead, you will quietly smile because you will finally see that every step, every pause, and every unexpected change was leading towards something far greater than you could have imagined. The next part will uncover that final connection, and once it is revealed, the entire story will shine with a meaning that has remained hidden until now.